This week, we've seen some truly heartbreaking stories hit the media. Stories of murder, oppression, and injustice. And we've seen the hurt and anger of people in the Black Lives Matter protests that are in response to the murder of George Floyd. And what I've also found really saddening this week is some people's responses to this. You see, I understand that this is a really tough situation, but this is the time for us, especially as Christians, to stand in response to these events. Isaiah 1 verse 17 says, "Seek justice and defend the oppressed." This isn't giving us a choice to step in if we feel led, or saying we should do something if we feel particularly connected to the situation. In every version I've read of this verse, it uses the word seek justice. That's active, that's doing. It means do something to seek justice, have a desire for justice. It doesn't give you an option to do nothing. See, Jesus also had a heart for justice, and as Christians we're called to be like him. So my kind of challenge to you this week is reread the Gospels if you need to, or just contemplate the Gospels and think about Jesus' life. And think about, if he was here today, if he was in this situation, where would he be and what would he be doing? Because I don't think he could ignore this. You see, we know stories in the Bible of when Jesus has turned tables over, when he's seen something that was unjust or he's seen something that was wrong. And there was nothing peaceful about this. It wasn't violent, but it was in no way peaceful. He turned over tables that would have had money on them. This money, these coins would have been all over the floor. They would have been rolling. Animals would have been fleeing. He would have been angry. And people would have been scrambling around the floor to try and pick up this money, whether it was theirs or not. But Jesus didn't avoid this situation because he thought it might ruffle a few feathers. He went for it and he did it because he knew what was right and he knew there was an injustice happening. And I'm not suggesting that throwing tables is the way forward, but it's just highlighting that Jesus couldn't stand by and do nothing. He knew that doing nothing wasn't an option. I'd also like to address the All Lives Matter response to the Black Lives Matter hashtag that's been going around and the protests that are the Black Lives Matter protests. I know some of you may have posted something with something similar, All Lives Matter, and you may have done that with the best of intentions and done it with all of your heart and done it with love. But there's been some people that are responding to this Black Lives Matter with almost a dig. It's, oh, but don't All Lives Matter, and it's quite an aggravating thing. But nobody here is saying that all lives don't matter, but we're saying that in this situation it is the black lives that are in danger and the black lives who are oppressed. And it's the black community that we, as a church and as a community, need to be standing up for. I've got two brothers, and growing up, we had equal parts of my parents' attention. But when one of us got injured, that person would have almost all of the attention. And that didn't mean that the other two of us didn't matter or weren't important. It just meant that in that moment, that person needed the attention because they were hurting and because they were injured. And it's just like the parable of the lost sheep in the Bible. The shepherd goes after the one because that one is in danger, and he leaves the 99. No one's reading that thinking, oh, well, don't all lives matter? Because we know that all lives matter, but that in that situation, the one sheep was in danger, and that one sheep needed the attention of the shepherd to live. And I've never felt like I've been in danger because of my race. And this doesn't exclude me from any responsibility, but I believe it gives me a duty to do my bit to change the situations for those people who do feel that way. This whole situation is devastating, and my heart is breaking for the black community right now. So finally, I want to call us to pray. To pray for the family of George Floyd, pray for the countless number of families who have lost someone because of their skin colour. Pray for the safety of those protesting, but also to pray for the police and the governments, because whether they are doing the right or wrong thing, and whether that's because they chose to or because they were ordered to, they need Jesus. Seek justice, defend the oppressed in any way you can.